Welcome to the Gooner Channel's transfer breakdown. Breaking news, sorry. As you can see, the sun is out. Sky is blue, but it doesn't mean that we're not still in a very sad mood. Arsenal fans, of course, coming to terms with the fact that not only has this been a bad season, no question about it. All right, getting to the semi-finals of the Champions League is an achievement, but it's not one that you brag about, and it's not one that survives, and there's no trophy for it. All of those things. So that in itself has been tough. We saw today Manchester City drawing with Southampton. We have to go away to Southampton, so I'm not going to take the mickey too much, but it is looking better for us in terms of making second place our own. If we can somehow beat Liverpool, who, let's face it, will have been at the beers since clinching the title. 15 points ahead of us. They're not going to make it easy. I don't know how our players are going to respond. But in any case, if there's anything that can cheer us up going into the summer, we need a massive transfer window. And I'm sure we're all going to hear plenty over the coming weeks, months, about how Arsenal desperately need a striker. But today, the news that Fabrizio Romano, the kind of gospel of in the nose, the gospel of transfer news, when he gives it an here we go, it's a done deal. He's been quite good at sitting on the fence recently. He tends not to tell you something is a done deal until it absolutely and categorically is. In this case, obviously, with it nearly halfway through May, the news that Martin Zubimendi is confirmed, the Real Sociedad defensive midfielder, is verbally agreed terms with us, although I will remind everyone that a verbal contract is not worth the paper it's written on. Again, though, if Fabrizio Romano, I can't remember the last time he gave something an here we go, and it didn't come through. But in any case, this story was actually broken by Sami Mokbel of the Daily Mail in the middle of January, in the January transfer window, when we were all still desperately hoping that something would happen, that we would get a striker or a forward player, given just how badly off we were in that department. And instead of that, we had it broken to us that Arsenal had done a transfer for Martin Zubimendi. I was sceptical, I must admit, because apart from anything, you don't normally release transfer news 5 months ahead of time. And there's many a slip twixt cup and lip. There are still teams are interested in him. He is apart from anything, for Spain, he plays absolutely brilliant. Malia's here. Brilliant to see Malia. Forget Arsenal transfer news. That shirt should be breaking news. It is breaking something, isn't it? It's breaking the colour barrier. I'm doing my best to stay positive and upbeat. It's a beautiful summer's day, and I've been watching some football today. There is an exciting game coming up later, Atletico Madrid, Real Sociedad, so we will get a chance to see Martin Zubimendi. But again, this is not really the transfer that we all wanted. We want a massive transfer window. I'm sure I'm not the only one. 300 million we want to spend. If we do go ahead with the Martin Zubimendi transfer, and now agreement has to be reached between the two clubs. But if we go ahead with it, it's considered to be that we are likely to trigger his transfer release clause, which is around 60 million euros. So you're looking at a better part of 55 million pounds. Our transfer window, I might be manifesting this. I can't know for sure, but we're all hoping it's around 300 million. Now, is Martin Zubimendi the player we need? No, he's obviously not a forward player, but with Jorginho now Flamengo bound and Thomas Partey, we are offering him a new contract. We can all, I think, be hopeful that he signs it. But in any case, what we saw when Thomas Partey was out for the game against Paris Saint-Germain, we saw that we didn't have anyone really to come in and replace him. But then you could say that was because Marino was playing completely out of position. Certainly with Jorginho, at the other end of the age scale, leaving this summer, we do need to bring someone in. And I think Martin Zubimendi is an able deputy, but I'm not 100% convinced, if I'm totally honest. I'm not sure that he is the player I would sign. I want to hear from you, of course. Let me know in the comments if you think I'm wildly wrong here. But Martin Zubimendi, he's not quite good enough to play defensive midfield on his own. Obviously, that's a role that we have Declan Rice plays brilliantly in when he does play there. And clearly, Declan Rice has been given more license to roam forward, more of a marauding position. But with Martin Zubimendi, it's not like I've seen tons of him. I'm looking forward to seeing him tonight. But for me, I've seen him in big games. I've seen him in less big games, and he tends to go missing. The other problem I have with Martin Zubimendi, and this may be unfair, but since I started this channel, it seems like I've been talking about Martin Zubimendi being approached, being hunted down. We have definitely been after him for 2.5 years, and repeatedly he's chosen to stay at Real Sociedad, either because it's his boyhood club, the town he grew up in, and team that he loves. Does that show a lack of ambition? Obviously, he has won things with Spain, and I think the best performance from him I've seen so far was when Rodri was taken off in the final against England, and Zubimendi came on, and there was no drop-off in quality, which is a huge thing to say. But he is not. Jose's here. Fantastic to see you. BX Gunner 81. How are you taking the news that Arsenal have all but confirmed the first signing of the summer transfer window, Martin Zubimendi? I am just going through the reasons I'm not 100% convinced. He does pass the eye test. I will say that. If you're a sort of person who just looks at stats, then he isn't going to be the kind of player that you would go for. Have we announced? Well, look, this is the reality is that Arsenal have not announced the signing of Martin Zubimendi. The Millets here. Wow, that shirt is Gabby Gunner. Loud, least you toned it down with the Gesto cap. Yeah, I did tone it down. You're right. I do not have a cap that does justice to the shirt. Oh, I'm lying. Of course I'm lying. Those of you who are here for Club Tropic Arsenal drinks are free. The whole thing is on now. The ensemble. Actually, do you know what? No, what? Like I've started, so I'll finish, as they always say. Look at that, Earth Vader's here. Oi, Razor, I'm happy with the signing of Zubimendi. Anyone says no. Better got a call coming through. Anyone says no, you want some, sort them out, Razor. I will do. I absolutely will do. Now, you're happy with Zubimendi. How's everyone else feeling? I've seen a bit of him in other games. I don't know how he'll fit in with the squad. Who's he coming in for? I think he's coming in. I don't know if he'll start every game. I think it'd be a Marino. I don't know. Look, he's 26 years old, so he's not exactly. He's not a youth project. We're not. Do you know what? I am going to change this hat. Scusa mia. I just feel silly. He's not exactly the sort of player that will float my boat on this one. He's definitely not. He's not going to play as Odegaard. He is defensive midfielder. He doesn't get forward. He doesn't score goals. He's not really a key passer. He does have a good pass in him. He's great control. I'm underwhelmed. I don't think this solves problems that we've had this season. I don't see Martin Zubimendi as the kind of passionate, fist-waving, must-win at all costs player that we desperately need at our club. I think in terms of how you would set up with Zubimendi, clearly, if you're going to have Zubimendi and Rice playing together, it probably isn't going to be a double pivot, although I think Zubimendi always looks much better. I think he always looks much better when he's in a double pivot, and I think he will be tonight looking at the lineups. Of course, we will get a chance to watch it and maybe make our opinions. I think he's a great project, but we need someone who's going to hit the ground running. I don't think he necessarily is going to hit the ground running, but he's at that age now. I wonder mentality. I wonder if there's a reason why he hasn't quite lifted it. Now, obviously, Sociedad have nothing left to play for. It's really unlikely they're going to make Europe, although I'm sure they haven't given up on the hopes of it. So Martin Zubimendi, confirmed by Fabrizio Romano, doesn't usually get it wrong. Was confirmed by Sami Mokbel in January. Looks like we might keep Partey. So in that sense, you might have a choice between Partey, Marino, Zubimendi and Declan Rice. And that's the kind of numbers you need for cover in the midfield. Earth Vader says, think we should play different formation, 4-2-3-1, play him alongside Rice, which would be better for us in that double pivot. I definitely think if you're going to play Zubimendi for his best position, you want him in a double pivot. And I do like the idea that we should at least think about different formation. Maybe this is the summer Arteta goes away and tries something different. I think we're all a little bit fed up of the way we're playing at the moment. We're all a bit fed up of lacking ideas. But again, this summer's likely transfers are the ones that I think most of us would be expecting are Zubimendi, which looks like it's done now. Nico Williams, another one that for me doesn't quite cut the mustard, isn't as exciting. I want us to think about Jamie Gittins, who looks a bit more of a prospect to me. And similar to Martinelli, but a tiny bit younger, so more of a project player. Rumours about Anthony Gordon. Great to see you, by the way, Cam Roy. Anthony Gordon rumours have been around, and we know that Newcastle needs to sell players, and obviously they don't want to listen. They don't want to be selling Alexander Isak or Bruno Guimaraes or the key players. I'd be surprised with Anthony Gordon, though. How would you feel about it? I personally think Anthony Gordon would be a great signing. Having said that, probably not necessarily. I don't know. What do we want from a left winger? Something slightly different from that which is offered by Martinelli, I would suggest. Big up, Razor. Listen to my twin in the YouTube chat, lol. I am listening to him. Not only listening to him, reading him out as well. Two of you. Who knew? So Anthony Gordon rumours abound. He's not one of the prospects that we really expect to come in, though, is he? I think we're all expecting Zubimendi, Nico Williams. And on that note, the further news that since he joined, Andrea Berta has had an absolute laser focus on the fact that he wants to bring in Victor Gyökeres. Obviously, Sporting Club Portugal player. He's having an outstanding season. He's broken through. He's spent some time in England. And that apparently is the striker we're all going for. Now, there aren't a lot of strikers in European football at the moment that you think will definitely hit the ground running. Of course, Alexander Isak, as I've already mentioned, is almost certainly staying at Newcastle, who I think are almost certainly going to make Champions League. Camroy says he's not a flashy player, at least not as flashy as Martinelli, but work rate would be massive. I agree. I really like Anthony Gordon. I'm not sure what kind of money they'd ask for him. I'd put it this way. I definitely wouldn't be unhappy if we signed Anthony Gordon, but from the rumours were at their strongest a couple of weeks ago, they seem to have died down. There's nothing really to suggest that Anthony Gordon is on his way. The other one is Benjamin Šeško. If you haven't seen the goal he scored last weekend, go and check it out. It's an absolutely classic goal from a player who's completely full of confidence at the moment, which is what you need. But he is young. So one of the bits that, listen, I'm going to give you both. So the other big transfer news of the day for me, not confirmed as such, but it's more about a player who's not coming in. Razor, I'm the only one that's pressed the like button. One like. Don't worry about the likes. The reason I'm doing this live is A, I get to chat to you guys, but B, I don't have to edit a video, which takes quite a bit of time. Whereas live, you can just click the button, do some chatting, and then at 5:30, go and have your tea. I'm really gutted that Aston Villa are only 1-0 up against Bournemouth. I had 3 goals in that game. So if we could all collectively manifest a couple of late goals in the last 10 minutes of that game, would make my life a lot more fun tonight. We'd pay for the dinner. But moving that to one side. Disappointment for Arsenal fans. We are getting used to it. God, can you imagine if Tottenham, I'm not even going to say it, but can you, this season could go down as one of the most difficult seasons, certainly the worst season since I started this channel in January 22. Was it 22 or 23? Actually, I think it was 23. My apologies. But it's 2.5 years, this channel. And there have been some disappointments, obviously, along the way, because we've not lifted any silverware at all. But there's been some great performances and there's been steady progress from when I started this channel, not really thinking that we could ever beat Man City to now almost taking it for granted. It's just a like. Don't worry about it, Anthony. Are you looking for work? Do you want to come and play? Rosie's always offering to paint over it. It's a beautiful warm weather, loosens the glue, but it is fine. It's just a reflection, I promise you. But before I get distracted again, the news: Man City, Arsenal, in fact, every team managed by anyone with a brain is after the same player. And it looks like Bayern have their man. And I am, of course, talking about Florian Wirtz. Leverkusen, he looks like he's agreed to go to Bayern Munich. What's ridiculous about that is, in German football at the moment, the conversation is, who would you take, Florian Wirtz or Jamal Musiala? The very idea that Bayern Munich will have both of them is a little bit offensive. But that is what looks like happening. The good news there is that I really thought he was going to go to Man City. Pep Guardiola has him at the heart of his rebuild as the new Kevin De Bruyne. I would be surprised if that deal doesn't go ahead now, given that when Bayern want a player in Germany, they do usually get him, FC Hollywood, and they are, once again, Pokalmeister, Bundesliga Meister, Harry Kane, and Eric Dyer for that, getting their first bits of silverware. Wirtz is insane. Bayern shouldn't be allowed it. It's not fair. It's not. And you do wonder what they're thinking, actually, because it's definitely going to make winning the Bundesliga even easier, should it need to be any easier. Xabi Alonso, of course, going to Real Madrid. Which brought me, actually, as a little sideline, I was thinking, with the big things this over the next couple of months are going to be signings in a transfer window. Obviously, we'll be watching the World Club Championship, but it's a silly competition. I'm interested to see what they do with it. But it's a stupid qualification for it. It's a silly competition, and I'm not overly thrilled about it. But the big things we're going to be talking about, with the exception of that, with no big tournament football to look forward to, is transfer window and whether Arteta should stay or not. Don't like it. Not happy with the conversation. Wish we could just put the conversation behind us. I know Earth Vader, Anthony, I know you have your thoughts. I know, Jose, I know you feel that way too. Whether we agree or disagree, I think I could see myself agreeing or disagreeing depending on how the start of the season goes. But I think we all know in our hearts that since he's only just been given a new contract, he's not going anywhere. Aston Villa have had a man sent off. You're absolutely right. But there's only 7 minutes left to score 2 goals. Boring match. Didn't enjoy it. Dean Houston's just picked up a yellow card as well. I'm actually watching out the corner of my eye. So whether or not Arteta should go, now one of the criticisms from people who argue that we shouldn't be talking about sacking him unless we've got someone lined up. And I was looking at this, and if you think about it, the one thing that people do often say is we need a proven winner, right? We need a proven winner. Now, if you're talking about managers who've won the Champions League, that would be a brilliant thing to do, wouldn't it? I mean, if you replaced Mikel Arteta with someone who's come in and won the Champions League, you are down to Carlo Ancelotti, who's about to go to Brazil, Pep Guardiola, who I don't think necessarily makes it to the end of the season with City next season. Well, they might have a really bad season. That's my prediction. We'll talk about that more over the coming weeks. But I really think something's not going to gel at City. And they seem to be... If they're missing out on Florian Wirtz, there's something not right there, isn't there? Thomas Tuchel, who's currently the England manager, Hansi Flick, who's Barcelona manager, and I think would be a perfect replacement. Look, let's be honest. If you've got really good players that just need to gel together and find that family bond, that spirit that gets you to win things, Hansi Flick's your man. Although saying that, he didn't do any better in the Champions League this season. With Rafinha, Lamine Yamal, Pedri. I mean, the squad that he has at his disposal is not missing forwards and forward-minded players, and yet he wasn't able to get past Inter. Thrilling match though it was. But Hansi Flick, Jurgen Klopp obviously is now sporting director at Red Bull, so he's not doing it. Zidane has already said so many times. First of all, he's not working at the moment. I'm sure he'd work anywhere he wanted, but he said so many times that he will not work in England, doesn't speak English, doesn't intend to learn. It's not a difficult language. Then Zidane could probably learn English, I'm sure, but he's decided he doesn't want to. Then there's Luis Enrique, who, as we sadly know, is already at Paris Saint-Germain and already doing a very good job. And the one standout manager, if we were going to replace Arteta, and bear with me, because this is all on paper. I'm not saying this is what I want, but the one standout manager you have to give some thinking power to. If you're going to sack Mikel Arteta and you want to bring a proven winner in, you want to bring someone with the big silverware. Can you guess who it is yet? Can you tell who it is yet? The person on the list who has won the Champions League in the last 10 years, haven't mentioned yet. Let me know in the comments who you think it is. I'm going to tell you in a moment, but I just suddenly thought, maybe I'm the only one who would absolutely not want him. He is currently working. He has won the Champions League. He has won the Premier League. Am I giving you too many clues here? In terms of Premier League winners, if you wanted someone to come in who has won the Premier League, that narrows it down a great deal, because you'd either go get Arne Slot from Liverpool, which I don't think any of us think is realistic, Pep Guardiola from City, who to my mind looks like he needs a bit of a break. Yo, Jordan, what are you up to? What have you been doing with yourself? Ross Morgan's here. Good evening, good evening, good evening. We are talking about if you were to sack Arteta and you wanted to bring in a proven winner, then the people who have won the Champions League in the last 10 years are Carlo Ancelotti, Pep Guardiola, Thomas Tuchel, Hansi Flick, Jurgen Klopp, Zinedine Zidane, Luis Enrique. I've given my reasons why I don't think any of those are coming. However, there is... No, I've already mentioned Klopp. I've mentioned Klopp, and he is now sporting director of the Red Bull Group. He said when he left Liverpool he'd never come and manage another team. I cannot see why he would. He must be smarting a little bit to think that he left Liverpool and they win a Premier League. We had Mother's Day ages ago, but lovely. That's really nice to hear that. Well done. And so if you were looking to sign the next manager of Arsenal and it had to be someone who's won the Champions League, there is only really one candidate. He's currently working. Yes, the Millet. You can always rely on the Millet to know his stuff. It is, of course, Jose Mourinho, Fenerbahce. Wins everywhere he goes, almost everywhere. And would probably love to come to Arsenal. Would you consider Jose Mourinho a step up from Mikel Arteta? If you thought the football this season was a bit dull, and it was, then do you think maybe? Ross Morgan says Tuchel is finished with England next summer. If Arteta doesn't win anything, I'd be open to that. Oh, really, I have such a bad experience of Thomas Tuchel, because when he replaced Julian Nagelsmann at Bayern München, he was just dreadful. I mean, I think Vincent Kompany is benefited from the fact that there's been a massive fall-off from Leverkusen. Dortmund are in all kinds of trouble, which is why I think we could get Jamie Gittins, because Dortmund are not going to be playing European football next season, and that's going to hit their budgets. He isn't a starter for them. He's, I think, a red-hot prospect. I will be doing a video on him later on. The dribble king, Jamie Gittins, is somebody who plays on the left. I see him more as a sort of Xavi Simons through the middle left eight, ball-carrying player. But Tuchel will probably be, I don't know, will he be fired after the World Cup? Do we do that anymore? How badly do you see the World Cup going that he'll be fired? Mourinho, and you put I think Jose will go to West Ham if Potter gets sacked. I think it's when Potter gets sacked. I don't think I've ever seen anyone lose the fan base as quickly as Graham Potter has done. I mean, don't get me wrong. He's not my cup of tea as manager either, but like, he's trying his best. He's doing his best. So I don't know. I think Jose at Fenerbahce now, I think there's just a point, isn't there, in everyone's career where not necessarily that they run out of ideas, but I think we started to see this at Tottenham. Of course, Jose Mourinho sacking from Roma was really unpopular with the fans. But he's very difficult to work with. I don't think Stan Kroenke, Josh Kroenke, Richard Garlick, any of those guys really want to work with Jose Mourinho. And I do think that there are things to consider here. One, him ex-Tottenham. Two, him hugely boring. Out of date? very defensive. Is the style of football that he made successful really based on countering a style of football that isn't played anymore, the tiki-taka? Tuchel is in a short-term contract with England, yeah, but I mean, you would expect England get to the semi-finals of the World Cup, he'll get offered an extension, and knowing my luck, he'll probably take it. Obviously, I'm really not a fan of Thomas Tuchel after his time at Bayern München. I mean, you've got to remember, at Bayern, he's the only man in like 12 years not to win the league. You know, when we got knocked out by Tuchel's Bayern Munich last season, they were. What was really frustrating about it was we could have turned up and beaten them. I wanted them. Xavi, ex-Barcelona manager, out of work. Yes. He is a very good shout. There are others out there, by the way. Xavi is a really good shout. I don't know if I'm 100% sure that he's better. I know you're all going to jump on me here for saying this, but what makes you sure that Xavi is better than Arteta? Managing Barcelona is a different proposition. I think, look, the other thing is, and I said this in a video last week, there is a part of me that does have sympathy with the idea that maybe Mikel Arteta is the guy you want to rebuild the team to get you challenging again. But actually, once you're challenging again, you might want to bring in a finisher. You might want to upgrade. I think the team's happy. One of the concerns I have is we don't seem motivated enough when we lose. We don't seem like it stings us. It doesn't really hurt like it should do. It really should do. So lots of things to think about. Xavi's a good shout. He's not the only one. There are others. But my point on the list I went through wasn't that they're the only good managers available. It's that they're the only ones who won the Champions League. So when people say they want a proven winner, you're talking about a proven winner. It can't be the Premier League or the Champions League, was my point. It'll have to be somebody who's won La Liga or Serie A. I know that Inzaghi gets mentioned a lot. Diego Simeone gets mentioned a lot. But like I looked at it, Diego Simeone, why do people so sure Diego Simeone is going to do this? Not Real Don's playoff on Brest, Lille, Iceman. Nice to see you, Moss. Speaking of Iceman, happy birthday, my favourite player of all time, Dennis Bergkamp, legend. Enjoy the birthday weekend, mercurial talent of all times. I did not know it was Dennis Bergkamp's birthday. I will do a little... Thank you for letting me know that. Obviously, I'll go and check. I found out this is quite... And I'm going to end on this because I do have a dinner to go to, and I do have to go and kick something because I really thought there'd be 3 goals in the Bournemouth-Aston Villa game. Fair play to Aston Villa. They're still competitive. They're still going for it. Are there any managers in the Premier League you would like? I tell you what, this came up in conversation on Wednesday, and I really like Iraola. I think Iraola is a really good manager, but isn't it a bit of a risk? Would you really sack the guy who got you to only the 3rd Champions League semi-final, that has got you to 2, possibly 3 consecutive second places? Would you really sack him for a brand new manager like Iraola? I went to the bookies. I put a bet on Zanzi to be the next manager under Arteta. You've put a 0 in the wrong side of a comma there. Worth a quid. You're never going to get odds of what looks like 10 billion to 1 for a quid there. You're not getting that from a bookie. Do you know the odds on Jesus Christ coming back to Earth next year? I was going to say next season. How bad is that? My life is seasons now. The odds on Jesus Christ being resurrected next year are 14 million to 1. So you're not getting 10 billion to 1 on Zanzi being the next manager after Arteta. Although, maybe he's the one. Zanzi, where are you, Zanzi? Sent you Dennis' birthday stuff Instagram. Maybe you blocked Moss. No. I haven't looked at my phone today. I have literally, it's been buzzing all day. And I'm on holiday. I'm on my holidays. I went for a run. I went for a walk. I had a nice bath. I've sat in the garden and I've been watching football. This is unofficially unsponsored by Captain Morgan's and Pepsi. Iraola losing to Emery at the moment. Come on, Cherries. I know, but he's doing it with Bournemouth, right? Give a guy a break. Gutted, though. Gutted there weren't 3 goals. Absolutely gutted. American Peruvian Pope Leo Messi the 14th. Oh no, that's Argentine. Lol. I really did not know it was Dennis Bergkamp's birthday, but I did find something out, which really, how do I not know this? I was on the Arsenal Wikipedia page, as I so often am, not updating it, just reading it. I know, and Ramsdale shut out City with Haaland in it, but Haaland, you know, we need a striker. If Erling Haaland fell out with Pep Guardiola, would you take him? I wouldn't. Stay humble, prick. I wouldn't take him. I just wouldn't take him. I just don't like him. Moss, I totally believe you. Not on Instagram, surely, because I don't have Instagram. Kicked in now. Right, sorry about that. Shut that. It's all going off here. My betting sites were starting to flare up. JD, the new Iceman, coming up. Big breast match for Champions League qualification again. So close after first place. PSG. Yeah, go and check that out on Moss's channel, Saskia Guna. I couldn't believe when I was on the Arsenal website. Not the Arsenal website. What am I talking about? The Arsenal Wikipedia page. In fact, I'll get it up now. Wikipedia is not always right, so I get that. And how have I done this many orbits around the Earth? 51 orbits around the Earth. Orbits around the sun, without ever knowing this and being an Arsenal fan all my life, all my sentient life. I mean, I probably was an Arsenal fan before I was properly able to speak, right? I only found out yesterday that Arsenal were formed on my birthday. I share a birthday with Arsenal Football Club, 11th of December, obviously not the exact date, 1886. 1886. How mad is that? How mad is that? Arsenal and I share a birthday. Is it fate? Is it kismet? Is it okay to send a link? Always open if people, Dan, gonna wish so nice here. Almost regret setting up the stream coming up. No, I'm going to go. Please do set it up and definitely share the link. Definitely. Or how do I share it? Let me turn my... I'm at risk of... You meant to be a gooner and damn Villa won. I know. Just want to congratulate Rosie for cashing out on her bet today. She won £1.75. All goes the same way, you know. Yeah, Mister. Oh, by the way, I am going to do a live stream tomorrow night. It's going to be an Adam's Arms. I'm going to get all festive and we'll probably do a quiz or something. So hopefully you can all join me there. I am meant to be a gooner. To be a gooner. Been getting into it a little bit with some other Arsenal fans. I posted a... all I did actually was I put a Lee Gunner clip up. Let me actually share it with you because this has really made me laugh. People have been... This is one of the most commented things I've put up. And I'm going to play it for you here before I leave. And then you can see why I think it's so funny, right? It's got no opinion on it whatsoever. So hang on. I'm going to just... Oh, you know me, guys. It's going to be shared right now. Adam's Arms and Legs. Yes, leg day tomorrow. So present slides and PDFs. No, share screen. There we go. This is funny for me. I don't know why. You'll see in a second, right? So this is the all I did.
Have you seen that video?
And you want to hope we don't get them. Because you're saying this and that, and the stars are aligning and all of that, and that's cool to have dreams and fantasies of winning the Champions League. Cool, but I live in the real world, bro. Yeah, the real world is. Yeah, we play either of them Madrids, we're getting put in a spliff expeditiously, and this fan base needs a humbling.
It's Arsenal Football Club. You support the club. I get it. I get why people want to question decisions, but when you win a football match, what the fuck is your life? Seriously. Come on, man. We've won the game.
Oh, we're out. We're out. Yeah, we're out. All day long, we're out. Yeah, we ain't good enough, mate. Yeah, and let's be real. Yeah, it's not like Ancelotti's tactically going to do anything different to what he's already doing. He just tells them go and play football. Yeah, we're going to see in this game the levels because people think that we're quality. We're not. We're crap. Yeah, and we're going to see how crap we are against this lot. Yeah, because the levels are like we can't even see it in the distance. You want to
now? Okay, so I'm getting a lot of people in the comments section on this one. Some of these comments are absolutely hilarious to me, saying we beat the Real Madrid trophy to Arsenal. No one's saying that we had a trophy for that. No one's saying we're happy just because we beat them. Barnaby Corwood said, what's he said that was wrong? And I just said, well, he said that we were going to get put in a spliff by either of the Madrid teams expeditiously. I don't know why him and he's such a fake. This is where it drives me mad. But I haven't commented on it. I have not said anything about him. I literally just put something he said before, and then something he said after, and then I left it to people just to make their own mind up, and I get so much heat from it. Why are you going in on him? I found the channel trying to get views while riding Lee Gunner's coattails. I'm really not trying to. I mean, I can't imagine anything stinkier than his coattails. I was telling LG to keep smoking the ciggy so he goes away before me and Dan. Listen, he's like that Jez guy who's going to be alive forever, just on piss and vinegar. The kind of gnarly, twisted old codgers that never die. I'm not wishing him anything but a long life. But I do find it funny because one of the other things was I thought a really good panel included Deluded Gunners, who I really have a lot of time for. And they were talking as positively as they could about Arsenal. He is absolutely a clang at Bell End. But there were lots of people talking about Arsenal, and they were saying, look, have we seen progress? And I thought Arteta made this point really well when he was asked, has there been any progress this season? He said, well, in the league, obviously not. We've fallen behind where we were. In the Champions League, we have made... Oh, Rosie, you picked me leaving to turn up. I'll be here for a few minutes longer. It's fantastic to see you. As you can see, everyone without you has gone on strike and refused to press the like. But we do have, I do want to just say, Jason Blackshaw, Anthony Herbert and Patrick Louise, for your love and kindness you show on Facebook. You are absolutely brilliant. Make sure you're smashing the like button and subbing to Dan's channel. Hibs lost Celtic, Rosie. We had 1-0 lead to in Glasgow. I did feel like there was some positivity coming out of certain sections of Arsenal yesterday. And I felt like then there was a load of people attacking them. And I just put, it's really nice to see not everyone's frothing at the mouth and angry and demented. We're all sad, but that doesn't mean that we can all pick on someone or blame the rest of the fan base. Let's stay united as possible, which I don't think is a controversial thing to say. And then somebody came back with, if you can't see that these four have hitched their wagon to the Arsenal and they need to stay positive and spin the positivity to make money. And I was like, that's a bizarre way of looking at it, because if you are going to be in the Arsenal YouTuber sphere, you definitely don't have to be nice about Arsenal to make money. In fact, this is what I mean, most of the channels I see are going in on Arsenal. They're going in on fans. They're going on everything. They were never going to win it, but it was worth hoping for. That's football, isn't it? It's you just hope. You live in hope. You know, whether it's Hibs beating Celtic or Arsenal beating Paris Saint-Germain, a great remontada if you're a Real Madrid fan that never came. Liverpool fans, tomorrow. I do just want to say this as well. I think this is well worth me saying. There was some debate about whether we should or should not give Liverpool a guard of honour. We should give Liverpool a guard of honour. We should give Liverpool a guard of honour because they deserve it. Because they deserve it. They won the league. They played the best football. They did not put a foot wrong. They kept their concentration when it was tough, when their heads could have dropped, when the pressure was on them. They maintained, and they are the champions for a reason. They're the champions because they're the best team at the moment, and we have to up our game a little bit to catch them. Signings like Zubimendi, I don't think are enough. I do think, risk of repeating myself, over and over again and risk of it being repeated over and over again. We need some forward options. Certainly, Gyökeres looks like Andrea Berta's first real project signing. Benjamin Šeško, I've certainly warmed to this season, having watched him a lot more. There are other players out there, certainly in Germany. Jamie Gittens, I'd love to see us go and do. Ademola Lookman, who's fallen out at Atalanta with Gasperini. There are players. I'm not mad about Nico Williams, although that one looks like it might be happening as well. Gerard Hato, there are some players in the defence. We're going to see some players go. We're going to talk about that for weeks. But I want to stay positive. I want to stay upbeat. And I think I would expect Liverpool to give us a guard of honour. And I want us and expect us to stand up and be gentlemen, be proper. You know, give them the guard of honour they earned and deserved. And the real reason for that is that I go back a way. I remember 89. 89 happened where it did right at the end of the season, right at the end of the season, beyond the end of the season. Everybody had played. We were the last game to play at Anfield because of the events of Hillsborough. Kenny Dalglish and the players had been to so many funerals before that Anfield game. It's very hard to get across to people just how indomitable Liverpool were at Anfield in those days, just how impressive they were and how unlikely it was that anyone would go there needing to win, not only win, but win by 2 clear goals. It was an impossible challenge. And I think that had they not all been through what they'd been through after Hillsborough, that they may have been too strong for us as was expected, but we got that dramatic and legendary 2-0 victory at the death. Michael Thomas scoring, it's up for grabs goal. And I can only say this, given what those fans had been through, given that they had on a Friday night at the very end of the season, all other league games wrapped up, had come along expecting to lift the championship at their own ground, and had to watch as Arsenal, at the death, took it from them and still stayed and gave us a standing ovation. So for those Liverpool fans, I demand we give this Liverpool team a guard of honour. To do anything else would be unsportsmanlike and not befitting the proud traditions of a club like Arsenal. We can get bantered by everyone for being losers, but we are not going to be salty losers. And that is my feeling on it. So please let me know if you feel differently in the comments. But I'm going to go now because I'm going to have a Chinese meal. Finally, do you think Dan will get that silly signed paper over? I've offered to do it. I mentioned you, Rosie, I mentioned you. You and are the only 2 people that ever go on about that sign. I don't know. You 2 should go into business. Be like a sort of Only Fools and Horses style thing. Get yourself a little yellow 3-wheeler. Liverpool had owned like 10 out of 13 years or something when we took 89. Yeah. I mean, no, it wasn't just that. It was the fact that they didn't lose at home, and they certainly didn't lose by 2 goals. Wee-Man is at college for the next 2 weeks, so his work is to get part 1, so he's moved in with his girlfriend as it will be easy to get there. Rosie, well, we'll keep you company. Cook for us. Where are your cooking videos? More of those, please. Anyway, thank you for joining me tonight. As I said earlier, it's much easier doing a live than it is editing a video, but do check out the videos. There's a few coming up. One about Jamie Gittens, who I'm absolutely convinced would be a mega signing for us, if a little bit expensive. I taught Weir's everything he knows about the building game. Probably didn't take long. Oh, ouch, zing. Guys, you are the Adams Arms regulars. You are the best bit of YouTube. And I love you very much. Until I see you tomorrow for another live stream. Be lucky. Lots of love.